Welcome everybody to Spokane, Washington, and on the field of Gonzaga University. It's the Gonzaga Bulldogs welcoming into town the Northwest University Eagles of the Cascade Collegiate Conference. NAIA against Pac-12 here as both teams prepare for their conference seasons. John Billings here alongside Vito Higgins. Excited for you to join us here for this Sunday night clash on a beautiful evening. Sky is blue, the sun is shining, and it's a little chillier than it's been for most of the summer, so it should be ideal conditions for a game of soccer. Well, the conditions last time out were ideal for Gonzaga, and the result was as well. An absolutely dominant performance against Utah Tech, led by this Goal of the Year candidate. The first of the season for Gonzaga by Drew Peterson. That put him up into the top 10 all-time for Gonzaga University, tied with Arne Ingi Pettersson. Gonzaga would put two more on the board, including this one, which was Sam Dollin's first goal ever in a Zags uniform. And he helped to continue on for the shutout as well after that goal. So Preciado continues to work his way up the leaderboard, and Gonzaga with a statement victory now, 2 shutouts on the season, feeling good about it. And Vito, as a former goalkeeper, you know how important that is to get the clean sheets.
Yeah, shutouts are absolutely massive. You can see with Chema how important it is, how much work he's putting into it. Hopefully he can pull his defense up and they can continue to put in the work as well.
If they can get it again tonight, that'd be 2 straight shutouts, first time in a long time in the Zags uniform. Gonzaga taking on Northwest University right around the bend. Welcome back to Luger Field, the home of the Gonzaga Bulldogs. A few fans in attendance in the sunshine across the pitch. Out of your screen, the berm on the right filling up. Should be a good crowd here as the students are moving back in this weekend and getting ready to kick off the school year. Well, the last time these two teams met, it was right here, a 4-1 victory for Gonzaga a couple of years ago. In that one, Peterson scored, and Van Dyke, who gets to start tonight, a goal and 2 assists. Gonzaga, of course, led by head coach Chris McGahee in his second full season. First since being named the full-time coach, no interim tag, and still establishing his style and his players and the guys he's recruited. One guy he helped to recruit when he was an assistant was Chema Preciado, one of the top goalkeepers in the nation. Athletic leader from the back. Gary McIntosh leads Northwest University. He has so for a number of years now. 23rd season as a head coach. Dr. Gary, as he's known around the program. And his goalkeeper is Bailey Hopkins out of Marshfield, Wales. One of a bunch of countries within a country, if you watch Ted Lasso. Gonzaga in the all-white jerseys will go from right to left as you look down on the field. Clad in royal blue, Northwest University Eagles. Little early pressure forcing Carson Hammond back. Able to sneak past one, but not two. Dustin Lee over there to help out defensively. High pressure early from the Eagles. Northwest University out of Kirkland, Washington. For those not that familiar with the Northwest, just outside of Seattle on the east side of Lake Washington. NAU program that competes in the Cascade Collegiate Conference. Touch from Lee, trying the diagonal. It'll be the first touch for Perry Blay. And we can introduce you to the starting lineups for Gonzaga. Let's start from back to front. Chema Preciado in goal. Left to right will be Perry Blay, alongside Isaac Dalhart and Sam Dolan. The right back is Carson Hammond. In midfield, Yella Van Dyke and Dylan Contafio getting his first start for Gonzaga after coming off the knee injury, or the injury in preseason, I should say, slight hamstring issue. And in front of him, Noah Irvin on the left, Morgan Olson in that attacking midfielder role, and Nico Galesius. And up top, Drew Peterson. There's a good look for Contafio, his first touches as a Zag. Van Dyke a little too soft, aiming it back to Dolan. Gonzaga able to regain possession. Perry Blay looking up off the chest of Drew Peterson. Able to hold things up, had a handful of jersey behind him. Pedro Dionisio whistled. Sam Dolan looking up to the right side. Nico Galesius, who got his first minutes as a Zag last time out. Really quick, dynamic player. Not afraid to go at a defender. Adding to the arsenal now for Chris McGahee, who was pretty depleted early on in the season. Now they've got a number of players that could start or come off the bench and add some depth for the Zags. First touch for Roland Nagoy. Didn't quite come off. Now Galesius for Gonzaga. Takes a look over his shoulder into the sunshine. Able to keep it in. Morgan Olson made a ton of those diagonal balls in behind the defense in the 3-0 victory over Utah Tech. Something Chris McGahee is saying we got to get a bit more dynamic, a little more pressure behind, especially if Drew Peterson's able to hold up the ball. Midfield's got to get through, as he did that time. Vito, you got a Division I program against a NAIA program. For those that aren't as familiar, what should we expect to see? What's different between the two levels in the divisions?
I mean, really just experience and exposure. The D1 schools are going to have a little bit more. The players are going to be a little bit more sound. But here's the thing in college soccer. Any day, any team can win, make a difference. Some of the best teams get beat by, a lower division team. Any given Sunday. So it'll be interesting how they rise up. Another trap that teams can fall into is that they'll play down a level. So this will be important for Gonzaga to really make sure that they're heightening their abilities and their level of play as opposed to dropping down. But as you can see, Northwestern is definitely coming out hot.
All the way back to Dalhart. Now over to Perry Blay, who played on the left wing for Gonzaga last time out. Now back at left back again. Noah Irvin. Try one from long distance, and Irvin, who got his first minutes, the transfer from SMU, sends it high and wide.
Another thing that's good to say about that is that, with these NAI teams, this is an excellent opportunity for them to really test themselves leading into their conference. Coach Dr. Gary, he shared with us that you know, Gonzaga is definitely a good team, and this is the level of opponent they'll see in their conference at the highest level. So this is excellent opportunity for them to, one, play a D1 school and get that exposure and that experience, but really just work out the kinks of their environment before they enter conference play.
Drew Peterson trying to find the angle. Got all the way to the byline. I think last touch by Northwest. It will be out for a corner kick to Gonzaga.
That's a corner for your Bulldogs.
And it'll be Morgan Olson. Gonzaga scored off of one of these where they went short last time out. And they do it again here. Contafio over to Olson. Little clip through. Dylan Contafio. Scuffed shot, but a nice little interchange between the two. And for Gonzaga, so much of the creativity has come through Morgan Olson. Exciting to see this number 8, Dylan Contafio, the transfer from UCLA. Vito, now Gonzaga, with him in there, maybe has 2 playmakers in the midfield.
Yeah, definitely exciting to see how I haven't seen much of him play, so it'll be very exciting to see what he brings to the fold.
And when you got 2 guys in there, somebody gets shut out, open up space for the other one. A lot harder to game plan against it. Here's Irvin on the turn. All transfers along the left side here. Blay a transfer from Liberty, Irvin a transfer from SMU. Blay forced all the way back to the senior captain, Sam Dolan. Carson Hammond. It'll flick up. Yellow Van Dyke able to get there and collect it for Gonzaga. Few to aim for at the top of the box. Hammond didn't like what he saw. Harry Blay able to shift it over to Irvin. Loves to cut back into the right side. Morgan Olson. And a little ball through to Van Dyke. Couldn't find it. Couldn't squeeze it through. Now Peterson. He thinks about it. Back post? No, too much. Good look at Nico Galesius there. One of those players coming off a knock, sophomore out of Halliday, Utah. Played through from Costa. Good challenge from Dahlhart. Lump back up again towards Dustin Lee. Carson Hammond in the sunshine over there. Coming off a goal last time out as well. Yellow Van Dyke, 2 defenders. If he can find a bit of space, instead just drills it off of Clayton Johnson and out for a corner kick. Second of the night for Gonzaga.
For your Zags.
Last time GU went short there. This time Contafio heads into the box. It will definitely be service from Morgan Olson. Right-footed outswinger. 4 lined up in single file at the back post. Now they break off. Peterson, Dahlhart. And it's tipped over. I think it was off the shoulder of Sam Dahlhart. Bailey Hopkins wasn't going to take a chance.
You can see Gonzaga pressing really a lot right now, and they're really pushing for something.
Olson's going to have another try at it. This time it's Peterson, and Bailey Hopkins able to knock it aside. Not out of danger yet. Flicked on by Contafio, and now a chance to counter, although Gonzaga back quickly and in numbers.
Yeah, the reason for my silence there is that I knew something exciting was going to happen the other way. So Gonzaga's pushing. Peterson's driving in there. He's being patient. I wanted to compliment him a few plays ago about his patience to play that ball out wide instead of trying to force the shot. So good on him. So, I mean, this is exciting stuff.
Little nick over the top. Titus Bishop, the captain, able to get it over to Ngoy. Tried a little outside of the right foot. Didn't get crisp contact on it. Preciado will lump it clear. Northwest University just coming off a match yesterday. You rarely see that over in Kirkland before they traveled over against Ottawa University AZ. A 2-1 victory. 2 goals from Nick Rivera. Number 23, their forward up top. I'll say free kick over to Gonzaga.
Yeah, the head coach for Northwest, he shared with me that, you know, even though they played yesterday, you really can't turn down the opportunity to play a Division I school. So it was a no-brainer, yes, for them to come over and play. And again, this tests what they have leading into conference. So I can't blame them. I would jump on this opportunity myself.
Yeah, you imagine in that game they probably tapered minutes a little bit here or there. You don't want to have everybody going 90 minutes back-to-back days.
Yeah.
Just for the risk of injury as much as anything else.
Yeah, for both teams here, it's going to be important load management, right? That's a hot word, load management. We're managing everyone's loads on the field. They do so by implementing warm-ups, cutting minutes short. So you might see players that don't play full 90. It doesn't mean they didn't do an extra 20 or 30 in that warm-up to increase it, to give other players a chance to play. So you'll see some interesting subbing tactics here for both teams.
And for Gonzaga, expect to see a lot of these players playing about 45 minutes. Contafio, coming off the injury, is expected to play about a half hour, and that will be limited, not based on what he wants to do, but what the training staff is allowing him to do. Peterson and Golesius are going to apply a little bit of pressure here. Clayton Johnson with the head, and then the clear only to Van Dyke. Olsen on the turn. Golesius, plenty of time to serve, and he's going to look for Peterson. Cleared away, defended nicely by Dionisio. Nice service there from Nico Golesius, who was just allowed too much space. And that's one of those things where you say, what can you be preparing for at a level? Well, what Gonzaga learned playing against a higher level at University of Washington the other day was if you make these mistakes, you get punished. I think what Northwest might be looking at there is, hey, if you give a player too much space to cross, you're likely to get punished there.
Yeah, I mean, one of these is going to fall Gonzaga's way. They're pushing and pushing. I mean, the amount of chances they've already have had inside that 6, on top of the 6, in between the PK spot and the 6, I mean, one of these is fallen.
It's one of those, too, where your coach can tell you a million times, you better be careful, but until you get punished at a level like this, it's hard to really take it to count. Here's Peterson. He's going to find Golesius on the volley, just wide. I like the confidence to take the strike, a difficult thing to pull off.
Yeah, on the bounce, you could tell that he just didn't quite that extra step, with pushing off his left foot. Right there, as he pushed off his left to swing through with his right, he didn't quite get that crisp connection with the laces.
Johnson forced to play it quicker than he wanted to. Van Dyke, the Dutchman, had it flicked over his head. And here's Benji Toscano out of Auburn, Washington. Toscano looked through. Dahlhart was right there, and it may be an injury. As Rivera was down, now Rivera's getting up quickly. Well, he's showing his hand as that was clearly a dive. Golesius looking for Olsen if he can get there. Just got a toe to it, not enough to keep it in.
I can't blame Northwest for trying something there. I mean, it's an opportunity. Attacking, why not?
When you go down, though, if you're claiming you're hurt, you can't pop right back up. You either got to pop up or stay down. Once you go in between, it's kind of airing your attempt.
You can't have it both ways.
Mm-hmm. Rivera, nice little nod down. Now Ngoy, time and space as Hammond was out of position. Dahlin forced to come over. Ngoy to the end line. And it's cleared by Dahlhart. Now Gonzaga with time and space. It's 2v2 up top. Northwest recovering back with numbers. Peterson's going to get there. In towards Golesius, and the flag was raised. Went over the end line. Now Drew Peterson did all the work to get there and then just didn't quite keep it in.
He kind of just took his foot off the gas in that last moment. So I'm sure he's disappointed with that, as you can kind of see him roll his shoulders over and walk back.
That was close. That's a pretty good angle from our team here with the camera along the end line. Looked like it might have been on that end line. Van Dyke wins another 50-50. Olsen on the pirouette. Now Contafio. Back to Galesis. Hammond with Ngoy pressuring. Floats it over to Irvin. Off the chest, little step over. And still in. Contafio is going to apply some pressure, and Ngoy able to knock it free and out for a throw. Noah Irvin at SMU, 15 games played, but no starts. So the first start for him in quite a while. Came in on as a substitute the other night against Utah Tech. Did have one assist at SMU against Duke University. And again, Gonzaga pressuring high. Both teams looking to do the same. Gonzaga able to beat that pressure a little more easily. Dolan now a chance to look up and find Noah Irvin. Phoenix, Arizona, off to the Minnesota native, Olsen. In towards Peterson. And he says, I just couldn't see it. You can see the shadows across the field, and that one was right into the sun. It just takes a little bit to get the timing off, and that header goes wide.
Yeah, you definitely can see he just lost it. He did his best. I mean, not everyone can be Cristiano Ronaldo. So, I mean.
I did hear a whole study. What was it? ESPN Sports Science. They showed the ball coming into him, and then they turned the lights off. They did a whole session on it, and he was still scoring in pitch black just because of the instinct of knowing where the ball is going to go. I mean, it's just outrageous.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the facts of repetition and your 10,000 hours or whatever phrase you want to use, but practice, 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 which to go back to how Gonzaga is dealing with this pressure, that's what you'll see in the difference between an NAIA school and a Division I school is they just can handle the pressure a little bit different. Doesn't mean that mistakes won't be made, but they can handle it differently.
Van Dyke on the turn finds Drew Peterson. He's pulled Johnson all the way out to the far channel. Allows Galesis to come into that space. Now a little interchange between the two. Peterson with the left boot. Always curling, but just wide. His less comfortable boot. You could see a bit ginger as he took the shot. Had the far post open, but couldn't find it.
I mean, that was close. It almost looked like he wanted to kiss off the post there for a second. So, I mean, knock, knock, knock. Let the big dog in.
Johnson lumps it off the chest of Ngoy. Sam Dolan took a shot after making that pass. Official was there, spotted it. Isaac Dahlhart takes a little whack as he gets it back to Dolan. Now Contafio, nice job finding a little pocket of space. Hammond, plenty of time to cross, driven across the goal line, and Bailey Hopkins gobbles it up.
Yeah, Northwest here is struggling to get out wide to slow down some of these crosses that are coming in, which really starts exposing themselves in that back line. I mean, I keep saying it, something's going to happen here. If Northwest doesn't figure out this pressure on the outside flanks, it's going to be problems for the rest of the game.
At this point, they're kind of having to decide, what are we going to do? Pressure wide and then leave a little bit more inside? I mean, Vito, I feel like you don't want to give it up, but if they keep laying the crosses uncontested, it's only a matter of time. Here's Peterson now. He goes all the way wide to try to cross and go one-on-one. Still Peterson. Off the mark with the pass back, but Hammond able to bail him out, and it will be a free kick to Gonzaga.
See some tired legs out there in that sequence.
Gonzaga played on Thursday night, so a few days, a bit more like what they're going to see in conference, kind of a Thursday, Saturday, or one extra day, Thursday, Sunday in this case. But back-to-back days for Northwest. Would expect to see some substitutions in the first half and trying to use those legs as much as possible. Contafio's open if they choose to go his way. In along the ground. Still Contafio. Will he get there in time? He doesn't. It's cleared as far as Hammond. Olsen will try a shot, but it goes right to Peterson. On the turn, a beautiful parry wide from Hopkins. Neat pirouette. Peterson's known for his size, strength, and mobility, but that time the agility to turn and strike.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. He's be able to spin around on his toes like that and strike through the ball. I mean, we keep comparing the two. That is going to be a big difference maker between the two teams.
Hopkins able to deny it and keep his team tied at 0. Olsen. Golesis to the inside. Shout from the Gonzaga bench is keep shooting, keep attacking.
A Northwest keeper here, he might have a highlight reel by the end of the night. He's already made some pretty good saves.
Olsen on the flick. The Lake Oswego native, Drew Peterson. Sam Dolan, first ever goal for Gonzaga the other night against Utah Tech. Slid on his shorts as he got to the sideline. It's probably a celebration he's been working on for 4 years now. Great to see a defender get some love there like that. And able to add a shutout to it as well.
Yeah, that'd be a rough one to practice in your dorm room floor.
True.
Might get some rug burn.
Yellow Van Dyke. Isaac Dahlhart. Barry Blay. Always eager to run. Finds Hammond. Again, time to serve. This one flicked on all the way to Irvin, who was choosing the safe option, the put it on frame option, rather than striking it with power.
And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, consistency over time hopefully builds some results. Maybe he had a moment to take another touch there and then place it, or even play it to someone who had a better opportunity. I mean, this really is a tricky one for Gonzaga when they find themselves with so many opportunities. Is really, do I take it now or do I wait for the, you know, is the grass greener on the other side? You know, at this point, I'd say neither are wrong answers.
Here's Perry Blay. Benji Toscano with 2 or 3 marks there, just trying to choose which one to go to. Gonzaga tries to switch. Good ball from Dolan out to allow Golesis to run at it. And Goy is there with light pressure. Hammond, a little flick through to Contafio. In behind, a little flick, and it's punched home. It's Nico Golesis.
That's a Gonzaga.
What a celebration to boot. Golesis on the board for the first time at Gonzaga. The sophomore able to make it 1-0.
We knew it was going to happen at some point, and it was about time. Northwest is just hanging on right now. You can really tell that they're slow to get out some pressure. Yeah, awareness to finish. That's just all that is, awareness to finish, to put something on frame. And again, a highlight to Gonzaga, but Northwest here really needs to start figuring out if they're going to sit in a low block and defend dominantly, or they're going to put some high pressure, and I don't think they have the legs to withstand that high pressure.
Drew Peterson almost had another highlight reel goal with a little flick behind his leg. He was defended well, but Golesis pounced on the opportunity. Now Gonzaga looking for another. Peterson to Noah Irvin. Good first touch. Can he poke it home? Brave goalkeeping from Hopkins. Clattered as he makes the save. Fair challenge from Noah Irvin. He thought he could get there, and if he got anything on it, it was going to sneak right underneath Hopkins. Lee able to find Bernie Costa at a Funchal Madeira Island, Portugal. I believe the as you talked about Ronaldo earlier, from the same island that Ronaldo grew up on. Irvin still with it. And that's over the line before Costa could clear. Montafio, the blonde curls, up to the goal scorer. Golesius, who got it, and Peterson did get a left boot on it. Little touch. Sent it wide. Well, your first 25 minutes looking at Dylan Montafio, the UCLA transfer, one of the Pac-12 pre-impact players. Has been good so far, the number 8 for GU. A little more creative in that midfield as he ventures forward. It's a bit more of a triangle with 2 players up top between him and Olsen, where Gonzaga in the past has played more 2 holding mids with just Olsen in front of them.
Yeah, they've moved to that single pivot in the midfield, and yeah, Montafio has definitely showed up. It'd be nice to see him be a little bit more ruthless in attacking options.
Dahlhardt slides through. Nothing is called. AR on the near side, saw it clearly. And got the ball. Certainly took some player out with it, but it was ball first. Now he's forced to defend again. Poked it free. Toscano there, and he earns a corner for Northwest. Nice response after conceding the goal.
Corner kick, Northwest.
It will be Benji Toscano with the left-footed service. And it's cleared away by the forward, Drew Peterson. That took a hand off Rivera, but they'll play on. Now there's 3-on-2 up top. Golesius tries the diagonal. Peterson coming through, slips down. Olsen slipped as he shot it, and in the end, nothing comes of it. Noah Irvin able to collect it. Olsen has Toscano behind him. Sam Dolan looks up, surveys, plays it right side to Hammond. And he's pickpocketed by Ngoy. He looks up, Rivera was willing, but had a couple defenders around him. Now Montafio. Good reception and turn. Golesius has it pushed aside, only as far as Van Dyke, and into Peterson. And that'll be a corner. Last touch, Northwest. Cleared away by Dionisio.
That's a corner kick for your Bulldogs.
And you're seeing right here why Peterson is such a dangerous player. From his runs into the box to his front post runs, he's obnoxious. He's just an obnoxious player to have to play
obnoxious
against.
As a compliment, it really is. He's always there. Obnoxious from the defender's point of view, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Here's Olsen. Little pick near the penalty spot now, lofted up. Costa didn't know where it was. Finally found it and kind of panicked. Golesius all the way through the middle. He'll help it along to Irvin. From one wing to the other. He's got some opportunity to go 1v1, but now a second defender comes over in the face of Rivera. And you mentioned it earlier, Vito, is Northwest going to pressure higher? Are they going to pack it in a little bit? Now we're seeing a little more tightly wound midfield to defensive lines. Montafio still with it. Van Dyke lost it for a moment. Peterson got it. That's another deflection. Corner.
That's a corner kick for your Bulldogs.
We've just got a little pause in the action here. Looks like there might be something on the field. And Gonzaga didn't realize it. Yeah, the official went over, just grabbed something off the pitch. As he was doing so, Gonzaga started right behind his back, but whistled was done and clock was stopped.
Looks like a shin guard, but they're so small nowadays that kind of look like a toothpick.
I'm not sure why you even wear a shin guard. You're just satisfying the rule, basically, right?
Yep.
It was Contafio as he puts it back in and crosses it in, and he assists on the goal to Carson Hammond. Well, he'll probably say it was the shin guard that was the key. Dylan Contafio introduces himself to Gonzaga fans with an assist.
I think he'll be thankful there that he got the restart. That definitely ended a little bit better. As we get this visual up, it'd be nice to walk through it. I mean, just some patience. A service, I mean, that's just a beautiful service. Patience to run in. I was about to kind of challenge Contafio a bit that some of his services I think could be a little bit more dialed in. They've been a little too lofted. He seems to be getting underneath it. Maybe he's getting his feet underneath themselves. But that one, he just showed us why he is what he is. And obviously an excellent finish as well.
Carson Hammond with his second goal on the season. The last match was a long-range bomb. This one a toe poke at the near post. Dylan Contafio only expected to play about a half hour tonight. He's only had 3 sessions with Gonzaga. Coming off the injury, getting back to full fitness. So effective minutes thus far, only in a half hour, able to get on the board, contributing to a goal. Now Perry Blay, as Gonzaga goes in search of a third. Peterson on the back post. Oh, and he'll want that one back. The sun was in his eyes earlier on ahead. This time it was maybe in the shade, and no excuse about not putting that one on frame.
Yeah, he kind of just got ahead of it a little bit. Ran past it, had to be kind of doing the stretch your neck back routine. So, I mean, he's just so fast. He's got speed under his feet all the time.
Yeah, he's so willing to make those runs. He's always there.
I mean, he's like a lab or a retriever. I mean, he's just excitement all the time. See ball, get ball.
Drew Peterson up top, sharing minutes on the season thus far with Michael Luwand, who's out with injury right now. Not going to feature tonight. Expected to be back soon. So Gonzaga will have a couple different players up there with Luwand out tonight. When Peterson goes off, we may see Goleshis move into that center forward role, or a number of other subs coming off the bench. Just as we say that, you can see a few players starting to warm up and get ready there. Looked like Senshin Suzuki and Dashiell Stein both getting ready. Irvin able to get the left foot around it and get it in. Costa doesn't want to mess with it, just chips it out. And that'll be a chance for substitution. So as we said, Dylan Contafio only expected to play about a half hour, and that's what he plays here. Senshin Suzuki will go in for him in the midfield. Also in, Dashiell Stein, and Stein will go in on that right wing when push Goleshis up top. Dashiell Stein, some good minutes against Utah Tech on Thursday as well. There he is. Sophomore out of Mount Lake, Washington. Over the head of Suzuki. Carson Hammond has been splitting time with Damani McKenna at that right back position. Played right wing in the first match of the year. Both outside backs for Gonzaga, happy to foray up into the attacking third. Here's Stein. Still Stein on the left foot. Punched away right in front of Goleshis. Gonzaga still applying pressure. Hammond with about an acre of space. Van Dyke took a couple looks over his shoulder, found himself some room. And in the end, Hopkins able to grab.
You see Hopkins there is getting a little frustrated with his left side of Northwest. They are a little slow to get out and put some pressure, which is allowing Gonzaga a lot of room for opportunities.
Good ball from Perry Blay and a quick one from Dahlin. Olsen lost it and then recovered it. Now Van Dyke tried to one-touch it out wide to Stein. Blocked on the way, a good idea. Here's Stein, good since he's come on. Happy to get to his left foot. Blocks, Johnson paid for that one right in the midriff. You can see a little something different with that Stein. Happy to come in on his left foot as Irvin is from the left onto his right foot. Neither are real out-and-out wingers that want to get to the end line and cross it back. They'd really prefer to dice their guy one-on-one and come in and shoot. Which probably works better in this formation with somebody like Drew Peterson not in there. Peterson wants to have service all the time, but these guys are going to come in and interchange with Goleshes. It fits a little better. One by Northwest, and last touched by an Eagle. Throw into Gonzaga. We talk a lot about McGahee now as the full-time head coach, not the interim anymore. And you think about getting guys that fit your style, right? Drew Peterson is one of the top players on the team, so you play him. But he probably prefer out-and-out wingers that cross the ball to him and give him service, where McGahee's style maybe is to have wingers that come inside and shoot. And so it's just that kind of mix and match between style and talent. Gonzaga is still kind of, I think, in that metamorphosis.
Which isn't a bad problem to have, because it keeps the opponent definitely guessing. Because when you start dialing in and you just sink into one style of play, it's a little bit easier to scout and cover your bases when you're preparing for an opponent. Where if you have two options, that's a dynamic situation to be in, which is really nice.
Sam Brendel with the clearance. Forced back right near his defensive line. A lot more of this half than in the midfield where he'd prefer. Isaac Dahlhard, a red card in that first match against Fordham. Other than that, he's been on the field throughout. One of the top players on the team so far this season, the sophomore. Dashiell Stein. Too much at the back post. Gonzaga on the season, one loss, one win, and one tie. 3-0 last time out against Utah Tech. Before that, it was a 3-0 loss against University of Washington, top-ranked team in the nation. And the opener was a really hard-fought tie. Sometimes a draw is good, sometimes a draw is bad. At the start of the game, a draw might have been looked at as disappointing for Gonzaga on their home field in the home opener. But once they got the red card and went down a man for the last 20 minutes or so, it was an absolute battle to hold on, and they did so. And I think by the end, Preciado was thrilled with a 0-0 tie as they had to earn it. He had to save a PK to hold on to it. Suzuki, standout freshman, helps it along to Perry Blay. Senior out of Otsego, Minnesota. Hammond a long way, overlapping from the right wing to the left side. Olsen earns a corner. 3 subs up for Northwest University. I'd be surprised if they take the subs here on the corner. Usually you don't want to defensively, but it looks like they will.
I think at this point it's just get some fresh bodies in there, a breather.
Center referee's not going to allow it anyway.
Nope.
So Olsen will serve once again. 7th corner kick of the night for Gonzaga. Everybody right inside the 6. A touch and it's in. Can Gonzaga find it? Stein drives it. A grass cutter there. Sam Dolan came in and he earns a corner. And the subs will come this time. Coming on, Caleb Corpus, Thomas Bedoya Osorio, and Felipe Makakari. Here's a look at the corner again. We had a great angle for this shot.
Yeah, good layoff. I mean, hats off to Hopkins not to move too much and just stay secure on his line. knowing that if it's probably going to go anywhere else, it'll be blocked. The only hole he covered.
Another difficult one to clear. Gonzaga with a shot right on the line. A little heel flick from Irvin is cleared away. If that takes any deflection on the way through, keeper's got no shot. Harry Blake comes across. Not many faster than him in D1, much less NAIA. He got it, lost it, got it back, but is whistled. Center referee Rob Rice saying a little too much there.
And you're starting to see the consequence of not knowing or identifying your style of play defensively, as Northwest has tried to be caught in between two styles. Gonzaga's now fine. We're just going to put everything in your kitchen sink and deal with it.
Rare set piece opportunity for Northwest. Isaac Dahlhart, the only one there. Sign helped it along. Golesis. Now Suzuki. Little loose with the touch, not paid for it. Isaac Dahlhart. And a whistle here. This might have been after the pass.
Got some hands there.
A little drop ball there. Not sure what that was. Maybe it took a deflection off the referee on the way through.
Had to. Very kind.
Just about 70 degrees at kickoff here. Beautiful evening in Spokane, Washington. Students have been moving in all week and getting a treat here tonight on Sunday night. That one last touch off of Hopkins. He flicked it over the bar.
Corner Gonzaga.
Golesh's a different kind of player from Drew Peterson. The dynamic's been good, showing his ability that time right through the middle.
Excellent pass, excellent run in. I mean, outstanding defending by Northwestern to just commit to the tackle, steer it up over the bar.
Over everybody. Even Dahlhart couldn't rise high enough for that one, although he does keep it in. Prefer to get a throw in conceded down there so you can lock him in rather than giving up the goal kick.
You know, go back to earlier. It'd be nice to see Gonzaga hit some of these services a little bit more streamlined into the box. These lofting balls aren't quite it.
To Shielstein. That one blocked, and awkward one. Hopkins was scrambling right and then back to his left. If that was on frame, wouldn't have been anything he could do about it. But yet another corner. So what are you looking for here, Vito, from the service?
I'd like a firm service just halfway between the ground and the top of that goalpost, inside the 6, driven hard.
This time it'll be Dashiell Stein with the left foot. It's right where you said, flicked on. Hopkins got a block.
And that's absolutely exactly what I'm looking for. Maybe a little higher, dipped a little too soon, but still, that's what we want. Those lofting balls just aren't going to get Gonzaga the opportunities.
Irvin on the turn. Rare touch for Nick Rivera. 2 goals yesterday in the match, but hasn't had much joy here.
I think that's what, the second touch Chemo's had?
And not many from his hand yet today. Dashiell Stein. Helped on by Lee, but Yellow Van Dyke there. John Bialtison has been in the midfield for Gonzaga most of the season. Little nicked injury against University of Washington. Didn't play against Utah Tech and not available again tonight. Michael Lewan not available tonight. Ezekiel Padilla, unfortunately, not going to be seen all season with the ACL tear. Here's Irvin. Little miss hit cross there. Ella Van Dyke somehow found space. Nobody saw him, kind of headed towards the corner. A lack of concentration to allow him to find that open opportunity. Senshin Suzuki on to Dahlin. Nice little diagonal from Morgan Olson. Hamid saw but couldn't connect.
Yeah, big key here for Northwest is just to hang on for these final minutes of the half. If they let another one in, it's going to be very deflating for them to enter into another 45 with this group of Gonzaga.
The Eagles bunkered in. Quick feet from the lanky Suzuki. Beautiful first touch from Perry Blay, and able to reapply pressure again. Stein, a little 1-2, finds Blay. Looking for Olsen. Perry Blay thought about the shot, but it was met. Defended well. That time it was Titus Bishop. All ball, says our official. And that puts in Goleshis. Suzuki settles, shoots. And a pause in action for some treatment on the field.
I hope this young man's okay.
Went down shouting, grabbed his knee. I think it was Rivera again as we take a look at the Suzuki strike. Sometimes when you get your first touch and you kill the ball perfectly, that's one thing, but when it's bouncing a little bit from that range, almost nice to be able to get your feet under it, get a little dip on the ball, more like a volley.
Yeah, it allows you to get that pop, that little extra, where you're having to fight the surface of the field. It's a little harder to get that clean strike through, but when it pops up for you perfectly, put some laces on it, it definitely allows the player to just follow through full momentum, and it usually pops off the foot really nicely.
Gonzaga looking to get the majority of their column filled up in the win column on the season. 1-1-1 thus far. After this, they'll head on the road after the first couple exhibition games and then 4 non-conference games here at Luger Field. They'll have 4 straight on the road at Creighton, at Loyola Chicago, at Cal State University Bakersfield, and at UNLV. Before back here September 30th for the first home match of the Pac-12 era. I always think, Vito, there's two benefits, I guess both sides of the spectrum. On one hand, playing at home early in the season, you don't have all the travel days, you don't have all the different reasons why you can't train, and when you're trying to establish a style of play and what you want, especially with so many transfers, these games at home are really nice for the training aspect.
Yeah, it definitely helps build that momentum going into the dog days, as we can speak of conference play and your travel. It is kind of up to the style of the coach. Do you want to get that travel out of the way in the beginning and be home? Here in Spokane, Washington, later in the season, you're cold. It's a cold environment here. Could it be a home field advantage? Could it deteriorate? I mean, who knows? So, I mean, Chris has made a good effort at managing the schedule well, and I think he's done a good job at it so far.
The alternative to that is you get a road trip and your team comes together a little bit. There's nothing like traveling and messing around in airports and hotel rooms to build some team camaraderie. So they'll get that after this stretch. Noah Irvin able to skip past one. Can he find the corner? Nearly. Looped it in with the right foot, aiming to the top right corner.
1 minute to go in the first half.
You can see here, he just takes that step, beats the defender. Almost looks like he didn't quite get that right shoulder rounded over the ball, and he lifted that hip open. Had he just got a little bit more weight over it, I think it would have stayed down.
You can see what he brings, though, his pace. He's a little bit taller than most wingers. He can kind of just stretch out. And it may not need to be the kind of thing where Gonzaga has to dominate possession like we're seeing here tonight. With his speed, Goleshis' speed, and Peterson up front, this is a dangerous counterattack team now. Good addition to bring in the senior this year.
10, 9,
And you can hear the countdown as the final seconds of the first half of play trickle away. That'll do it for the first half. A dominant performance in the first half of play. 2 goals for Gonzaga. Peterson and Hammond able to get on the board. Some good minutes for the newcomer, Dylan Contafio, as well. So Gonzaga heads to the locker room after the first 45 minutes, feeling good about the progress here tonight. That's still a lot of match left to play. GU up 2-0 at the half. We'll take a break. We'll be back to look at the first half highlights, preview what's upcoming, and get you ready for the second 45. Welcome back here. The action resuming at halftime. Who needs Division I when you got these guys out there? Love to see it. Good crowd here. A lot of kids, a lot of students, a lot of family and friends. Nice evening for some soccer here at Luger Field. First half of play dominated by Gonzaga. 2 goals early and a number of chances. You can see 9 corner kicks is indicative, I think, of the dominance in that first half of play. Well, for Gonzaga, just a few more non-conference games before they head to the conference, and the way they're expected to perform, you see at the bottom there, Cal Baptist and UC San Diego, that's when they get into conference play. But before that, it's a big road test, and like we said, Vito, a chance to get to know each other, a chance to bond a little bit. They're going to be a month before they're back here at home.
Yeah, it'll be exciting to see them go up against Creighton, Loyola, Bakersfield, and the road trips really bring the camaraderie together. You're in the trenches.
A lot of stories I think we could tell about road trips, Vito, and then a lot you can't tell too. But that's some of the best stuff, right? That's where the team comes together, get some inside jokes, get the kind of things that can start to lead to better cohesion on the field as well. Gonzaga mix matching with the Big West and the Pac-12 to fill up the calendar for the year. Here's how they're predicted to finish for the Pac-12 at the start of the year. And so many unknowns here as these are coach voting kind of polls And normally you know every other team and everything about each player. This year there's a lot of teams that really don't know each other. So, you got Gonzaga there at the 5th seed, Oregon State obviously at the top, but it could be anything this year. I mean, really, as much as these preseason polls are always a little bit flaky, this year has almost no indication.
Yeah, I mean, this good group of teams. These are all high-level teams coming together in this Pac-12 format. It will be very interesting and exciting to see. So, I mean, you only get this thing once. This is the first time and only time. First time.
A lot of teams are going to come to Luger Field that have not been here before. Chance for fans to see it in action. We'll take a break here. We'll be back with more discussion about the first half of play and get you teed up for the second half. Zags up 2-0 at the half. Welcome back to Gonzaga University as we are at halftime between the Northwest University Eagles and the Gonzaga Bulldogs. Well, the highlights, we had a lot to choose from, Vito. It was all Gonzaga throughout the first half, and twice they were able to punch it into the net, but it could have been a lot more, and most of them came from wide positions where the ball's getting served and somebody in the inside's trying to put it home.
You could definitely see it over and over again where they were just building up, and then the services got cleaner and cleaner and cleaner, and eventually they found the back of the net. Gonzaga definitely was pushing and knocking on that door almost 100% of that half.
Here's the first goal. It was a little heel flick from Peterson that was blocked, and then Galesius able to clean up the mess. Little celebration to boot, and then here's Cantafio with his assist, found Hammond at the near post.
That was just a beautiful service by him. I mean, you really don't have to do much as that attacking player. You just got to run into space and just put some contact on it. Goal.
Cantafio had nearly the assist, kind of the hockey assist on the first one, and then the official one on the second. Nico Galesius with his first career goal. Hammond with his second of the season. Wow, 24-0. That's a pretty big-time stat right there for Gonzaga. Able to dominate the first half of play. We're also got some of the stats up here with us, and Vito, possession 22% to 78 for Gonzaga.
Yeah, it's a clear indication of the difference between an NAI school and a Division I school. Gonzaga obviously coming off some good results, and they're just flowing. They're just rolling right now. They've got the energy and the momentum, and good on them.
Great to see some new talent, some new faces in action for Gonzaga already tonight, and we're likely to see more in the second half. We'll preview that in a few moments. Stick with us here watching Pac-12 Soccer on YouTube. Welcome back to Spokane, Washington, Riverfront State Park. In the back of the view there, the beautiful pavilion and the clock tower. Good time to be in Spokane late in the summer. Beautiful days, no humidity. Light mosquitoes, as I have a couple scratches on my legs right now. Not too bad. First half dominated by Gonzaga in front of fans here, but if you come over from Kirkland, you can see some Northwest University shirts up there as well. In-state rivalry to some extent here. And we're likely to see a bunch of substitutions, one of which we saw out here warming up. Give us a little bit of an insight of what it's like to come on as a backup goalkeeper, because I think, Vito, we're going to see Matthew Dovale coming in, the junior, the transfer from Central Arkansas for Gonzaga.
Yeah, it's an exciting time for him. I mean, really, you walk in and a half is just the start of a fresh game. So, I mean, it's the mindset. It's what I would tell my goalkeepers coming in is just doesn't matter if it's the start of the game or the second half or even at a sub moment. It's the start of a game for you. Fresh slate, clean slate, fresh start, and you focus that going forward.
It's got to be easier for a goalkeeper. You know, normal field players are used to coming on as subs and just kind of warming up and then getting in. But for a goalkeeper who needs the touch and they're kind of used to diving on the ground and all that, it's hard to come in the middle of a match. So a little easier to come in at halftime, I'd imagine.
Yeah, and it definitely would be challenging, but that's why we do the training that we do away from it. It's a little chaotic. You know, you'll watch a goalkeeper training session and it's like, man, these guys are just all over the place. That's why we do that. We create chaos in a controlled environment. So when it comes time to implementing it on the field in live action, you've already got everything dialed in, ready to go. You don't need much to start up.
Also substitutions for GU. Chase Potter in the midfield in for Yella Van Dyke. Most of the defense is going to be a fresh set as well. Looks like Carter Bernold is going to be at the center back alongside Terry Watson. Damani McKenna will be at right back in place of Carson Hammond. And then looking across the field, I think it'll be Scott Chavira Robles, who played left back excellently against Utah Tech the other night.
And this is a perfect example of the work that coaches actually, this is where the work really comes into play in terms of managing your team, making adjustments. I mean, Chris is doing a good job managing minutes and load, as we talked about earlier in the broadcast. So this is definitely good work by him as a coach.
Nice to be able to get a few more people minutes and keep the legs fresh and healthy. Suzuki out right side. So now the second half captain, Damani McKenna. Shield Stein back into McKenna, dances around one, not a second. Potter came in with the sliding challenge. Terry Watson and Carter Bernold gets his first touch. Carter Bernold, a freshman out of Frisco, Texas. Terry Watson, the fifth-year senior, transferred from Clemson before last season. So a little mixture of experience and youth out there. Mostly unchanged for Northwest. Chase Carter out of Spokane, Washington, the freshman in number 25 up top for Northwest University. In front of some family and friends here, I'm sure. Fun for him to get to play at home. Toscano looking along the near side. Corpus gave chase. And here's Bernold. Irvin likely to play about 60 minutes tonight as he's coming back from his injury. Some of those guys who have been fully fit, you want to kind of keep them fresh. For him, he needs the fitness. He needs to go a little longer than an hour and start to work that into his legs.
Yeah, the game has really gotten intricate in the sense of managing players' minutes. It's no longer just go out and play. They have it down to literally minutes of when they should stop or how much further they should go. And it really is to just put stress on the body, or obviously not too much stress on the body. So it's very interesting if you dive into the athletic trainer and head coach booklets on that.
almost all the players, certainly during training, if not during the games as well, where GPS monitors that don't just look at how long you've run and how far you've run, but they actually look at the bursts of speed to see if they're intense runs versus jogging, all sorts of science behind it. And it starts to predict when there's going to be hamstring injuries and other kind of fatigue-related injuries. If you can avoid them, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Shield Stein, a nice defensive play there. Gets it back to Morgan Olson. Goes 1v1 and rips it at the near post, and a hand save from Hopkins. Clever and quick feet from Morgan Olson that time. Hopkins with a strong paw to deny. Now Terry Watson. Damani McKenna. The Bainbridge native earns a corner.
I mean, another Hopkins save. Regardless of the score tonight, he's going to have a highlight reel. I mean, it's an excellent turn here by Gonzaga. Just powered in. I think if he kept that low, that would have been a little bit more lethal.
That the 12th save on the night for Bailey Hopkins. Stein with the service. Potter will put it back in. And I think that probably will count as a save. An easy one, probably the easiest of the night for Hopkins. First touch there for Tomas Bedoya Osario, who came in late in the first half. He has it taken away by Suzuki. Osario able to clear. Lights on here at Luger Field now. Field completely covered in shade. Still the beauty of Spokane late in the summer. Plenty of light, although the days are getting a bit shorter here. Terry Watson. Into the feet of Suzuki. Quickly got it off his feet there. And he had to. Northwest sitting way back into a defensive pack. Nearly every player in that final third right now. Corpa is able to read it and poke it out.
Yeah, this is the classic park the bus from Jose Mourinho.
Potter over the top. Damani McKenna trying to turn the corner. Nicely slid over and defended by Dustin Lee. Shoreline Washington native. Had a goal earlier in the season against Pacific.
I would imagine a big focus for Northwest in the second half is just to minimize, obviously 2 goals, but minimize chances and continuing forward to build that established connection with their defensive unit as they were very exposed in that first half.
Vito, you said it a few times, just too much time and space on the wings for service. We've already seen it a little bit tighter there. Something to keep an eye here in the second half.
I mean, it really comes down to you just don't want to be caught in 2 different places. You either want to be out and putting pressure on that attacking player, or you want to sit in deep and just wait for them. But if you get caught in between, it really offers any opportunity to happen.
Watson, not a firm pass in. McKenna able to sneak past the challenge. Jafiera Robles looking all the way across to Monty McKenna. Not enough. There's Johnson for Northwest. Plenty of time for Terry Watson. Hits it first touch back up to Deshiel Stein. Senshin Suzuki, who Says some of his favorite players. Kevin De Bruyne, Jude Bellingham. Stein able to slip it through to Golesius. Now back to Golesius. Nico Golesius. Suzuki had a chance. Still with Nico. Olsen's going to run it down. Damani McKenna. Suzuki sliding in. Chavira Robles. Valiant defending from Northwest to keep the door shut.
I mean, this really is beautiful play by Gonzaga. This just passing in and out, pulling Northwest defense. You can see it right here on the screen. Just patience to play, short little pass in, cutting it back, laying it off. Excellent, excellent playing.
Oh, and Senshin Suzuki just right out of the replay rips it off of the left upright. Power and placement. Had the goalkeeper beaten, but not the post.
I was blocked a little bit, but I could hear it. I mean, excellent hit.
Now Damani McKenna has Stein in front of him. Now Potter, who a little inside outside, and just took a little nudge in the back as he tried to cross. Hopkins misplayed the clearance. That one looked like it bobbled up off of Suzuki's arm. Northwest asking for a handball.
I don't blame him on that one. That was
looked like a hand to here.
Very unintentional. I mean, not much
Sure.
he could do about it, but again, at this moment of the game, with the score being what it is, very clear.
Now Golesius, can he make it 3? Sends it wide. And with that shot, 28 on the board for Gonzaga tonight. Puts it at the second most of any Gonzaga match in school history. They've got to reach 34 to tie the record. At this rate, that's looking like it's likely to happen. They were at 24 at the half. Already up to 28. Now 34 would get them to 1 shy. It's actually 35 is the all-time record. That was against Montana State University Billings. You know, any chance you can throw an extra Billings in there, Vito? You got to do that, right?
It's a shout out to you, my friend.
Yeah. We'll keep an eye on that tally. It's definitely within reach for GU. I think they'd probably prefer to have the all-time goal-scoring record rather than the shot record. But certainly putting the pressure on. Watson, a firm ball with the inside of his foot to Damani McKenna. A little flick back from Suzuki, too far out in front. Scott Chavira Robles will take the throw. Out of Portland, Oregon. Transfer from UNLV. 12 starts last year, now kind of in and out of the starting lineup. Luxury to bring experience off the bench like that for Coach Magahi. He's also played center back when Isaac Dahlhart went out with the red, as well as left back. Damani McKenna is all alone, and it floats in over the goalkeeper who lost his balance. And Damani McKenna makes it 3-0 to the Bulldogs.
Wonderful place header that is. I mean, it almost looks like he mishit it. But I believe he just purposely saw that the keeper was out a little bit higher and it just popped it right over into that sweet spot. You can even tell Hopkins was just beat. He just came out a little too high. Excellent finish, just to have the awareness of that keeper to be that 2 steps higher than he should be and you have the length of the goal. I mean, that's the big thing. When at angle, the goal gets really long, and so that ball can just pop in behind the goalkeeper very nicely.
Damani McKenna with the goal, is first on the season. And Gonzaga gets the reward for their 29 shots here tonight. McKenna from that right back spot was all the way up deep on the right wing. And was completely alone. Now Northwest, like they did in the first half after conceding a goal, nice little push forward into the box, intended for the Spokane native. It's defended, Carter Brunold. Suzuki was too late, and the shot comes in, blocked down by Watson. Caleb Corpus had the shot, but now they got to scamper back and defend. Nico Galashis took it pretty well, trying to turn the corner. Well, that was certainly off the foot of Pedro Dionisio, but it will be a goal kick. Gonzaga with some substitutes up and warming. Likely to see Jackson Farrell, the freshman who's seen minutes in every game thus far this year too. The only starters still out there for Gonzaga are Noah Irvin, Morgan Olson, and Nico Galashis. Terry Watson, who came in at half. McKenna looking for Dashiell Stein. Off the back, McKenna tries to make it 2 for him on the night. And valiant block made by Northwest.
Again, excellent way to pass to lead that attacking player into the 18 behind, as you can see here. And then just drive to keep attacking, run onto it, have a solid strike. Good defending by Northwest to make sure that doesn't get on frame.
Hands raised from Dashiell Stein. He's got 5 right on the doorstep of the goalkeeper, but the service was way too far wide. Now Olsen, still with a couple more to aim at. Noah Irvin was there. Johnson clears for Northwest. Only partially, though. Noah Irvin skied for that header. Unable to get great contact on it, but just from a standing start, you know, so much easier to run up and jump. He was just standing flat-footed.
Yeah.
And not a bad idea. The first opportunity to test the feet, at least, of Matthew Dovale, junior goalkeeper from Toronto, Ontario, on for Gonzaga. And for Preciado, Nico Galashis. Nice defending there, Dustin Lee. A little nutmeg, but Galashis is able to shield it off and get it back. Potter on the turn. Stuck under his feet just a little bit, as it did to Lee. Suzuki reaches the long leg around to poke it free. Suzuki again trying to thread the needle to Irvin. Beautiful grass pitch here at Luger Field, laid down. You probably heard us say if you've listened to Gonzaga game before, but those that haven't, Egypt's national team called Luger Field their home base this summer as they were in the World Cup and staying in Spokane between matches. So they laid a brand new pitch down, and it's one of the best in the country now. Galashis gives chase, but Johnson was there and concedes the corner.
Yeah, we already had a really nice pitch, but after this summer, it's gotten even better. And you can actually see with their footing, a big complaint that you've heard from players and staff is that there's a lot of slipping, and this year we just haven't seen as much. It'll be interesting to see how it looks like later in the fall when it gets colder and a little bit more damp.
Substitutions on for Gonzaga for the first time tonight. We see Carlos Murillo Pavon as Irvin, Galashis, and Olsen all make way as we expected. Ball Out to the back post. Drew Peterson is there, having just come on. Terry Watson got the touch, though. Jackson Farrell, who we expected as well, freshman out of Seattle, Washington, is in on the right wing. Maybe a little bit surprisingly, Drew Peterson back on up top for Gonzaga. I don't know that they have that many forwards. They might have needed him to. A lot of time and space for Scott Chaviro Robles. Pavone to the top of the box. Peterson, little ball through. Chase Potter! And a valiant save. Dionisio able to block.
That's a corner for your Zags.
Denying a definite goal.
I mean, excellent play here by Gonzaga. But, hats off goes to Northwest. Just not giving up on the play, because that easily could have been a goal.
Pedro Dionisio out of Avintes, Portugal. Giving up the body.
It's so easy to switch off in those moments, especially when you're 3-0 down. It could just be like, oh, here it goes. But no, he committed to it. And again, hats off to Northwest.
A little different set piece routine this time for Gonzaga. Last time they were all right on top of the goalkeeper. This time only one there, and the rest are out near the penalty spot. And too much contact here. Rob Royce, center referee, blew the whistle immediately.
You know, I never understood that. There's a lot of times where you have a good thing that works, and typically it's crowding that box, and then teams decide to change it. I've seen it across from the pro level all the way down to the college and youth level. It's like, if something is working and creating chaos, stick with it. I mean, you're going to get a goal out of it.
Good feet from Felipe Akakari. Dustin Lee drops back in. Dionisio, the rare chance to look up and survey the field. Good ball into the channel. Attempted through, but it's taken away by Mario Pavon. As it go behind his legs. Chase Carter looking around and being excited that he's actually got some teammates up top with him. He's been all alone up front tonight. Northwest had decent numbers for it that time. Here comes Stein. Dances with the feet, puts it through to Potter. 2 tries in 2 moments, and both of them go by the wayside. That one, a little contact right on the shot, and he sends it over.
You can see here Northwest is getting tired, but Gonzaga is not giving up.
Potter certainly got clattered, but I think it was fair. It was after the shot. And there was a little bit of ball in there too. I think he's asking if there was ball, why isn't it a corner instead of the goal kick, but I think the ball just got touched right before he took it. Potter picking himself up. Some substitutions for Northwest as well. A few starters back in like Ingoy, and then Easton Ross also coming on, the substitute. Bernie Costa, who played in the first half as a right back, is in on the left side now. And good to see Potter up.
You can hear that Northwest bench urging their players to recover on defense, which is a tremendously hard thing to do under the circumstances that they are. Having played yesterday, playing a D1 school, travel, down 3-0. I mean, it's just, there's a lot going against them, but I mean, they got to find the urge and the willingness to keep working here.
Dashiell Stein, kind of a clever player. Good feet, always shifting left and right. Out to the left side, turf comes up. Murillo able to collect it. Suzuki will try a drive, blocked away. Stein has Murillo Pavon out on the left side again, but goes down the middle to Chase Potter. Shielding it off. Clever heel flick, but nobody there.
A little too clever.
Stein with the left foot. The shield. Stein with an artistic left foot bender into the upper corner.
I really like how you said artistic. That's a good way to describe that. Once you see this video pop up, but you can just see how confident he was striking with his left foot. I mean, here it is, right? Having that drive, opening up the hip, nice placement of that right foot, and just opening up and just driving that left hip kind of around the ball really conducts that artistic approach into the back of the net.
We said he plays on the right wing quite a bit, but happy to come in onto the left, his stronger of the two boots. And he's been a fantastic performer tonight, creating chances for his teammates, and this time one for himself.
I mean, those are really hard to defend as a goalkeeper because he really has two options. He could close his hip and drive it into that near post or to that left post if you're the goalkeeper, or drag what he did and keep it open, and then it just goes to the opposite side. So, well done.
The Shield Stein gets his first ever goal for the Bulldogs. And Gonzaga still in possession. 78% of it was in their favor in the first half of play. Pretty similar number, I think, here in the second half. And no matter what your opponent is, Vito, going into some tough games on the road, having multiple players who've seen the ball go into the back of the net, it's a good vibe, good confidence that it breeds, especially for goal scorers. They want to see it go in.
Yeah, there's nothing better for a goal scorer than to see the back of the net ripple. Worst thing for a goalkeeper, so I don't like it.
Yeah.
But I can also applaud for those goal scorers and what they need. So
I used to like scoring. I mean, you got to be careful because you can get a yellow every once in a while for after a dead ball or, a flag goes up. But I always tried to put it in the goal when I could, just to see it, to feel it, even if they had already blown the whistle.
I mean, thankfully, we don't obey the hockey rules, because if you do that in hockey, you might have a whole line brawl.
That's true. You can go a little outside of the foot. Back to Dustin Lee. Johnson all the way back to Hopkins. Chance through, forces Dovale all the way off his line, and he was ready for it. For Northwest University, after this one, it's Simpson University on Friday the 11th. So about a week and a half, couple weeks here. They get to freshen those legs up, and they'll have Simpson at home in Kirkland. And then Southern Oregon University a week later, followed by Oregon Tech. So a few at home field at NU Athletic Field in Kirkland. The conference season just right around the corner.
I was talking to their head coach before the game, and he also said school starts tomorrow, so they have quite the busy schedule ahead of them.
Drew Peterson to the byline. Tackled well there, Dionisio.
Corner for the Sags.
Dionisio, not the biggest of center backs. He's going to struggle a little bit for some stuff in the air, but when the ball's on the ground, he's been fantastic tonight. Not an easy task of sticking with Drew Peterson all night.
No, you can see the benches pounding the glass on the coverage of their benches, what it means, and he keeps showing up and doing the hard work. I mean, this is easily a game where you could just kind of get defeated, but he just tackle and time after time is showing up for his team. So good on that young man.
Gonzaga will go short. Farrell, the left foot toward Peterson. Chase Potter thinks about having a crack, instead finds Carter Bernold. Robles. Stein. We know what he can do with the left foot. Jackson Farrell skips across it. Stein just too much off of the thigh and a little bit of arm there. Well, Preciado isn't going to get all of this, but remember we said earlier in the broadcast, an opportunity tonight for back-to-back shutout victories if Gonzaga is able to hold on. This will be the first time since 2017 with the 3-0 shutout victory against Utah Tech on Thursday. If they can do it tonight, stringing a couple consecutively, and that would be 3 out of the 4 matches this season that ended with the shutout.
Yeah, nothing feels better than have some goose eggs when you look at that schedule and the results. Zeros on the defensive side, wonderful thing.
Jackson Farrell. Carter Bernold, 2 fellow freshmen teaming up there. Farrell floats out one in. Peterson pulled down a big handful of jersey. And then Pavone knocked down. Contact. We play on. Rob Rice says no problem. Good first touch from Jackson Farrell. He's got Bernie Costa on him. Outside of the right foot. All the way across. A beautiful ball to Carlos Maria Pavone. Looked like he was going to get there. It skipped under the studs. And it looks like we're going to have a pause in action for a video replay. Remember, referees will be called in to take a look at it from the coaches. Both coaches get a challenge. Gonzaga, the host team here in the non-conference, so they're going to play it just like it's Pac-12 rules.
I think he's smart to do that. I think there was a couple instances there that could go the way of a penalty.
And which one do you look at here, right? I mean, what Peterson and I think it was Pavone both who took contact. Either of them stand out to you here, Vito?
I'd say the first one. I would say this first challenger here, I think we're going to be taking a look at. I mean, there's just a lot of jersey being pulled there. I mean, it's a tough one. It is tough. I can understand where the center would maybe not call these, but at the end of the day, if it's a foul, it's a foul. It can't be because 4-0 or a non-conference, whatever reason you want to come up with to justify not making calls. If it's a foul, it's a foul. If it's a penalty, it's a penalty.
Well, you're looking at the same stuff that we were looking at, and the official is as well. So that was kind of the first part. If they let that play a little further, there was a second challenge. I think what's tough about these, Vito, for me is it's a subjective call. Subjective on the field versus subjective, unless it's like really clear that they missed something, it's still subjective, right? So you're saying, hey, you didn't think it was a foul before, do you think it is now? I mean, the handful of jersey was pretty definitive there, but
yeah,
let's see. Rob Rice, yeah, I think he's going to say penalty. And he's saying not playing the ball. He is going to get a yellow card as well. So Pedro Dionisio is going to get a yellow and concede, just as we were talking about how well he's played tonight. Just caught one-on-one right in front of the goal and thought he had lost Peterson and had to grab the jersey.
And again, that's why we said earlier as a compliment, Peterson is obnoxious. And at some point, he's going to wind you up, wind you down, break you down. And that's exactly what happened there. And I think the center might have been blocked in that view to see the full shirt grab. It'd be nice to see that, but I mean, he made the decision, and I think it's the correct one.
Peterson grabbed the ball immediately for Gonzaga. Center forward wants it and wants a chance to go solo top 10 all-time in goals for Gonzaga. If he gets it, it'll be his 16th career goal and a Bulldogs uni. One-on-one with Bailey Hopkins. Little stutter, and he tucks it home, bottom right corner. Drew Peterson with another goal here on Luger Field to add to the tally. Now at 16.
And I'm going to keep saying it. He's obnoxious in the best way possible for Gonzaga. I mean, as a goalkeeper, when you're dealing with that stutter step, it is terrible. It is a terrible feeling to have to wait until even a second longer to make a decision. But Peterson did a beautiful job there to just kind of take that stutter and then just play it in, just stroke it into that side of the net.
Gonzaga extends the lead to 5. Vito, let's talk a little bit about September and the matches upcoming for Gonzaga at Creighton, at Loyola Chicago, Cal State Bakersfield, and UNLV. Gonzaga's played against Cal State Bakersfield a few times in the last few years and had some pretty tight matchups. Not the top program kind of maybe around the California area, but always a solid one. That's the program that Coach Chris McGahee came from as an assistant before coming to Gonzaga. But Creighton, Loyola Chicago, and UNLV are always really good programs. In fact, in years past, Creighton plays for national championships.
Yeah, Creighton is always a really difficult.
Here's Pavone, a quick chance here, and we'll get back to that as Hopkins snatches it up.
Yeah, Creighton is definitely a tough team to play against. They've done well throughout their history of soccer. It's even tougher when you have to go and play in Omaha.
This time of year, Omaha is going to be hot. It's going to be humid. So Lee able to stick in front of Damani McKenna. Able to get it off to Corpus. Good physical challenge from McKenna out for Northwest. Kind of a weekend, Creighton and Loyola Chicago on that same travel. And then Cal State Bakersfield will be a one-off. And back home for a little bit of time, and then a one-off again at UNLV.
It'll be a nice weekend to have a good Omaha steak, so hopefully they make the best out of it.
When in Rome, right?
Yeah.
Or Omaha. Shot is blocked away. Farrell will just lump it up and out. Oh, Johnson didn't get all of the clearance to Shiel Stein. Trying forward to Drew Peterson. Scott Pavone in the middle. Missed on it. Will he get another try? No.
Yeah, you can see there maybe some weight on the legs, not able to just conclude on that strike through. I mean, at some point I have to ask is when is Peterson going to get a sub here? Because I think at some with the score being what it is, do you keep milking that tree or do you cut it loose?
Well, the injury to Michael Lewand, who would normally be his replacement, kind of short on guys they could bring in for him now. You'd hate to have an injury late in a match, though, with this scoreline. It's a former goal scorer, though, Vito. He won't want to come out. I can tell you that.
Yeah, and when you're rolling, you maybe want to hunt down a hat trick or even more than that.
Yeah, maybe that does make a difference. We said how seeing the ball go in the back of the net makes a forward or any player really increasing confidence, can lead to more scoring later. If he sees a few more goals go in, does that help him when conference season rolls around? It may. Costa with a scuff clearance. The freshman from Seattle, Farrell. Off to another freshman from Seattle, Suzuki. Good idea, too much weight. Pac-12 starts for Gonzaga September 30th against California Baptist. Still seems a little strange to say Gonzaga a part of the Pac-12. It was kind of always the enemies before, you know?
Yeah.
And now to be a part of it, and to be fair, it's a totally different Pac-12. It's not the Oregons and Washingtons. They're all in different conferences now. Washington State, Oregon State, those are the only old Pac-12 teams that remain.
Yeah, it's bizarre times we are evolving into. If you'd played soccer back in the 90s and early 2000s, the times they are a-changing.
It'll be fun to see some new teams come in here at Luger Field. Some different matchups as well. All those WCC opponents will be nice in future years to see if some of them can get scheduled as non-conference foes as well. Teams like University of Portland that Gonzaga's played for so many years. Seems like they should be on the schedule again. A lot of these schedules get put together 3 or 4 years in advance, home and homes, and different ways that you're going to fill up your schedule. This game is a good example of one of those that was added to get just one extra game for Gonzaga. Peterson, as it's lumped over the top, or just kind of flicked up. Peterson's still alive with it, and Goy clears. Suzuki out to the right side. Monty McKenna. Is it blocked? It's still back in. Chase Potter. Talking about some of those opponents, Pac-12 and not. This one to the near post. Stein. And Stein finds the bottom corner. The diminutive attacker turns and lets it loose. And it's 6-0. 2 goals on the night for Dashiell Stein.
I'm just seeing here, just really lazy defending by Northwest, not coming out completely to conclude, I keep saying conclude, but to finish off that defensive motion.
I think that's one of those, the difference of I can give you a little bit of space, you won't punish me. At this level, you get punished.
Every single time you're going to get punished.
We were just talking about some of those other foes, another game with Northwest of the country implications, Oregon State and University of Washington playing tonight. And that one late in the first half right now, and University of Washington up 1-0.
The Gonzaga goal was scored by number 23, Dashiell Stein. Give the assist to number 27, Jackson Farrell.
Both of those teams nationally ranked. In fact, remember last year Oregon State was the home team in the NCAA tournament. They played host to Washington. UW won it on the road like they did 6 times throughout that College Cup run before winning their national championship. Every game they won in the tournament was on the road. How different it would have been if Oregon State would have won at home to start that off. Gonzaga going in search of more. Not for the first time, Carlos Maria Pavone has it skip right past his foot. Javier Robles able to chase it back down. Now Suzuki. A skipping ball, gobbled up by Hopkins.
Those still can be dangerous as this cool air drops on the field. It could slick off, and you never know if that keeper bobbles it. You always got to be ready. So, I mean, any opportunity now is still a chance.
Peterson's still running. Now Suzuki to the feet of Potter. His left foot shot blocked away. Dustin Lee sends it long down the line. 35 shots on the board right now for Gonzaga, so tied the all-time record here for the men's soccer program, a record that's been in place since the turn of the century, feels like. Here's Potter. And I don't think they'll count that one. They say deflected. Okay, corner.
Corner for the Bulldogs.
Dashiell Stein make his way over. Steins got Potter at the top of the box. Yep, and he's going to use him. Referee in the way a little bit, though. Keeps Potter from the first try, and then he just bends it around the corner. Goalkeeper blocked by a sea of defenders, and Potter takes advantage.
Yeah, it definitely won't matter what the center was doing there. It seemed a little bit inconvenient, him standing there for so long. But, man, what a finish just to take that touch, open the hip. Look at it right here. I mean, maybe a 12th man opportunity there. Again, excellent finish, but I'm going to have to scold Northwest on just not coming out and closing down quick enough. I mean, that has been their biggest issue in tonight's game, just not closing down. And, you know, I can't blame them for it, but you're not just going to get by with it at this level.
Kickoff taken too early, and that shot, a fitting way to mark a new record. The shot that takes Gonzaga into a new school record for a single match shot attempts, giving them 36 shots tonight, is one that hits the back of the net. Chase Potter's goal makes it 36, which is a record that held since 1999. Some 26 years plus, and Gonzaga puts a new record in the books.
And I have to say that if I was Northwest, I wouldn't be too happy about seeing that record up on the board. But it is what it is.
I think they knew, right? You go into a match like this that you want to do as much as you can. This is a learning opportunity. Still some things to be gained. You know, it's hard, too, for Gonzaga. You're trying to get better every match, too. And, yeah, you feel bad for an opponent, but especially with all these subs in who haven't been playing as much, I mean, they want to put forth everything they've got, right? And I don't think you owe anybody else, but it wouldn't be surprised if Gonzaga starts to possess it a little bit more at the end here, just out of respect for Northwest.
Yeah, you certainly don't want to tell anyone not to score goals, but you definitely want to be respectful to the opponent.
This one all the way across to Jackson Farrell, just flicked off the back of his head. And substitution coming for Northwest as Bailey Hopkins makes way out, and Charlie Perchinaka out of Perth, Australia, will come on in goal. The big junior.
He's a tall drink of water, that one.
Speaking of tall drink of water, English Premier League today featured Ipswich goalkeeper that stands at 6'9", tallest player to ever play in the English Premier League. He looked every bit of it. Talk about covering the goal, covering the frame. Tough night for Bailey Hopkins. I think some amazing saves, like you said, to go on the highlight reel. Few he might want back, and then a bunch he couldn't have done anything about. But never fun for a goalkeeper to concede 7. Certainly not his fault here, though.
No, I mean, it looks like he has a good head on his shoulders where he's not taking it too bad. I mean, you're going to take it personally to an extent, but hopefully you can use it as experience and just kind of build up his, I guess, mental endurance and strength, and it doesn't, hurt him too much.
Costa battling here with Farrell, and he'll get the call. The Portuguese outside back. Valiant effort here tonight. Up to Toscano. Right side to Ngoy. And the shot saved by Dovale. The putback still alive. Brendel was there. And the best chance on the night forces the first save for Gonzaga.
And as good as they've been offensively with 7 goals, it'd be really disappointing at this point to give up a goal. So they need to be careful in these waning moments.
The mental challenge of staying focused throughout 90 minutes, especially with a big lead like this, is certainly real. I think this is why we talk about still going hard for the entire game, because these are things you can improve upon. Having mental focus just like this. The pause in action is to give some calf stretching there for Lee. We're going to get a challenge for a handball in the box. Gary McIntosh, a little wry smile on the sideline. This is something we talked about, Vito, earlier in the season. 2 challenges for each coach. It kind of means that essentially coaches are going to throw them out there like the risk reward. Like, why not, right? If you get anything close to an opportunity, they're going to give the challenges. And unfortunately, I think there's going to be a lot of just kind of wasted challenges. But here comes the shot. I guess that might be what they're looking at. Was a hand on the ground when it touched the ball? Okay.
I don't think it's enough there. Very unintentional. I mean, balancing his hand on the ground, but and if it changes the path of the ball in an attacking opportunity for a goal-scoring opportunity, then I guess they have an argument.
Yeah, I didn't see anything there, but to be fair, the camera was still showing the great save from Duvale prior.
I mean, I think
this will be a little better view probably.
He just kind of falls to the ground, and they're just, I'm not seeing enough there. But to your point, why not? Why not?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think the why not is going to happen a lot this year. I think you're going to get games where there's 2 challenges apiece, and it's just going to waste a bunch of time, and it's because why not, right?
And does that become a tactic to give your team a breather, or
yeah, sure, it's like a timeout?
Yeah. I mean, next thing you know, we're going to have commercial breaks.
Don't get me started on hydration breaks.
That's what they're called. My mistake. Hydration breaks.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot.
Money in the pocket for FIFA. Brendel shows a little too much of it. Justin Lee knocked it down. Peterson. Effervescent. Still with fresh legs. Coming inside. And he went down. Pops right back up. A little gimpy, though. Gives the thumbs up. It doesn't look 100%. Not something you want to see for Gonzaga fans.
See, he kind of just gets clipped. Kind of awkward, to be honest.
I wonder if he cramped afterward. Potter over to Terry Watson. Columbia, South Carolina native. To Shielstein trying to add 1 to the tally. And the first save of the night made by Pritanaka.
Excellent save by, I'm not going to even try, but excellent save by that goalkeeper.
By the Aussie.
Yeah, by the Aussie.
Javira Robles. Serving all the way across. Jackson Farrell found space, and he tried the audacious half volley.
He just couldn't get that right foot around enough. Just kind of kept the hip open a little too much, which led to that foot being a little too open. And just if he could just get that toe around it a little bit more, he probably would have stayed on frame.
Peterson serves up to Pavone, who sends it over. Into the final couple minutes here at Luger Field.
Yeah, I'd say at this point, I think everyone's getting a little bit tired.
Tough to play 2 matches in 2 days. Kind of thing that you see a lot in youth soccer, right? You play maybe 3 days straight in a tournament. once you get older, that starts to be tougher and tougher.
Yeah, the recovery just isn't, you don't get that same recovery in our systems.
On the pro level, I was listening to a podcast with a couple former pros, and they said it was a full 8 days to get fully recovered. So even during the season, you're never really completely recovered. But if you have 3 or 4 days in between, you just had nothing anywhere close to a full recovery.
No, I mean, I once did a breakdown with recovery models with U.S. Soccer, and this was probably 15 years ago. The average college athlete actually will never be in recovery until out of season. Once they've started season, they will always be in the red technically. Wow. It just takes too long with games, especially if you're playing a Friday, Sunday, or a Thursday, Saturday. It takes too long for the body, and then you have to train.
Nicely punched away by the Aussie to deny within the last minute here. Eventually, college soccer moving more to be kind of in the professional tiers would likely mean 1 game a week, which would be far better for the athletic prowess, for the injury prevention. 2 games a week, pretty tough.
Also a lot more manageable for the academic side as well. I mean, as we talk about physical load, there's a mental load that takes away from their academic responsibilities. So again, if you expect these student athletes to come in and perform at a high level on the field, they also need to perform a high level in the classroom.
Gonzaga trying to see off the victory, and the shutout won't count if it goes, and that is gonna do it. Gonzaga with one that's gonna look really good in the stat column, 7-0. To be fair, probably a fair score line considering the shot tally of over 40 shots on the night for Gonzaga here. Goals from about half the team. DeShiel Stein got a couple himself. Potter with a nice one here in the second half. Drew Peterson with a penalty kick. And another shutout for Gonzaga. 3 on the year. Puts them to 2 wins, 1 loss, and 1 tie. They'll head out on the road for about a month before we'll see them back at Luger Field again to start the Pac-12 season. A night of history as a record on the board for the most shots in a single match for Gonzaga. Well, for Vito Higgins, myself, John Billings, and all of our fantastic crew here at Luger Field, thanks for watching Pac-12 on YouTube. We'll see you next time.